Hello and welcome to the Thought Bubble, a show created by the National Healthy Schools Collaborative Youth Council. I'm today's host, Michaela, talking to you from Aurora, Colorado, and this is my co-host, Ramki, from Pleasanton, California. We're 2 of 17 members of the National Healthy Schools Collaborative Youth Council.
For the past year, we've been working with school policymakers and other school health leaders to learn about mental health in schools and create policies that will improve mental health in education systems. To learn about our recommendations, please visit the National Healthy Schools Collaborative website at thrivingschools.kaiserpermanente.org.
We're here today with a special guest, Joel Rodriguez, to learn about his ideas and experiences for improving school mental health. Joel has presented to us prior to this interview, and we've called him back to reconnect about his innovative idea of one-to-ones. Joel Rodriguez is a community organizer and director of youth organizing with SWOP, the Southwest Organizing Project. He's passionate about his work with youth and building up communities, and he wants a more youth-centered culture. Now introducing Joel Rodriguez.
Hey everyone, good evening.
Hello.
Hey Joel, how are you doing?
I'm good. Nice to be here with you all. Thank you for the invitation. And I believe this is your first show, and I'm really honored to be part of it. So thank you all so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much for accepting.
Okay, so Joel, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about the Southwest Organizing Project and how your position at SWOP correlates to your passion of working with youth.
Yeah, so I have been at the Southwest Organizing Project, SWOP, for a little bit. It's close to 12 years. I've been organizing there, particularly around issues that are really important to young people and families. I was brought on to work on an issue around the school to prison pipeline, an issue that has impacted so many schools in the United States. The overuse of suspensions, expulsions, and arrests that typically impact young people, Black and brown young people, but really impacts all of us. And so the Southwest Organizing Project is an organization that we build power for families on the Southwest side of Chicago. Now we don't do that as just an organization. We do that with families, with young people. And so we are comprised of about 45 member institutions. So what that means is the institutions that are members of SWOP, what we do is we work together on issues that are important to families, that are important to institutions in the community, and we work to build power to address those issues. So we come together and we are addressing the issues that impact families, institutions, and overall in the community. There's some issues that we have taken on that some are citywide, some are nationwide, and so it's about coming together to organize. And when we talk about building power, it's about organizing people and organizing money. And so we're about building relational power. So all this is done through meaningful and intentional connections that are made between people. And then we come up with homegrown solutions to what is it that we want. And then we fight for it until we get the win. That's who SWOP is. SWOP is an organization that is made up of people that have a desire to change the way things are, to change community, to change the status quo, and ultimately to change the world. Right? We believe that the work that we're doing on the Southwest side, it has a ripple effect for our city, and ultimately we're making the world better.
That sounds like such a wonderful and fulfilling job. How has this position with SWOP helped amplify the work that you personally are doing with youth?
Yeah, so I first want to say that organizing has just transformed my life because prior to doing to starting to work with SWOP, I was doing a lot of good work. Okay, I was working. I did alcohol and prevention work with young people. I had worked with young people in Puerto Rico that were HIV positive, so a little bit more of case management. I had done work. I still continue to do some work in Haiti. We're impacting a community down in Haiti. We've built a school. We've built a clinic, an incredible agriculture program, and so all of most of my adult life, I have been working with young people in one capacity or another. But what I have found is that organizing is the best thing that I've come across. The tools that it has taught me to have the biggest impact possible has been amazing. The tool of building power. I don't think we talk enough about power in our communities. And so, how do you analyze power? How is it that you build power with people? These are things that I was not learning in some of the after school programs that I was running, in some of the programs that I was running with young people in my mentoring. I wasn't taught this. I was not taught to how is it that you can imagine a different city, a different world, a different lifestyle, and how is it that you bring you address a big problem like violence? How can you make it into an issue so that it's actionable, something that you can win? And so all these tools that I learned in organizing, I felt like it was missing. It was missing, and I learned these tools through SWOP. And so the work that I'm very passionate about in engaging young people, transforming young people's lives, being part of their development and their leadership, I learned that at SWOP through the organizing that they do and that they taught me. And so the work that I have a passion for young people, it aligned incredibly. In fact, it complemented my passion for young people, and it gave me the tools that I had been looking for to have the biggest impact that I can in young people. Prior to that, I was working a lot more one-to-one mentoring, one-to-one. And that was meaningful and rewarding. But what I have found is that in organizing, it gives me the ability to impact much more young people that I could just one-to-one.
That sounds amazing. Me too. Honestly, I've always wanted to, help people out there like in any way possible. That's what I'm trying to look towards like in the future to pursue. But I'm also interested in this. So how can I also, get organized or get, involved with SWOP if I wanted to?
The first thing, anybody that's interested in getting engaged with the work that SWOP does, um, it all starts with really sitting down with organizers to learn about the work that we do. And so we have a website. There's ways that you can contact us if you're interested in learning more. A lot of the work that we do is very hyper local. It's based on the southwest side of Chicago. There are some coalitions that we're involved with citywide, nationwide. But for the majority of the work that we do, it is really focused on the southwest side of Chicago.
I personally would like to learn more about your one-to-ones. You practice these with the Youth Council. What exactly are they, and how have they impacted your life and the work that you do?
Yeah. Um, you know, Relational meetings, one-to-ones, is something that has literally changed my life. Relational meetings is a powerful tool where two people come together and we can share each other's experiences, get to know each other, and not at the superficial level. We're not talking about sports and football, right? We're talking about what moves us, what wakes us up in the morning. And the idea of a one-to-one is to figure out what is each other's self-interest. Okay. And then the objective here, yes, we want to get to know each other. Yes, we want to build relationships with each other, but also what's going to move us to action. So that's what we want to figure out, right? What is it that I care about deeply, and where can we find common ground so that we can move together on things that we want to change, things that that impact me, my family, my city, my community, my school. That's the purpose of a one-to-one. The one-to-one is to build relational power. And in one-to-ones, sitting down, they're typically 30 to 45-minute conversations. We're building trust. We're building a relationship. And the idea is coming away from this. It may not happen the first time. Maybe it'll take 2 or 3 times. But we want to build enough trust that we'll have each other's back on taking on issues that are important to our lives. Issues like immigration, housing, education, improving our schools. Those are things that we all care about. But a lot of times we don't know how to move on those things, right? We don't know what to do. We feel overwhelmed by violence, right? And so we don't know where to start. And building the types of connections through one-to-ones that build some curiosity and imagination of how we can move together, it's just powerful.
How can this be implemented in different environments? Is there like a generic template that can be followed?
It's incredible. But the reality is that we first have to learn this. And so I would seek organizations that teach this. We, as SWOP, we'll be more than willing to provide a training. But there is a template, right, that talks about what it is and what it isn't, right? It's not chit chat. It's not gossip, right? It's a real intentional conversation. So what I would say for folks that really want to learn this powerful tool, seek out an organization like SWOP that does these types of training. And then this can be done in every setting where there's people. I've literally done thousands of one-to-ones since I've became an organizer. My goal is to do at least 15 one-to-ones with people that I don't know, or maybe people that I want to reconnect with every week. So 15 one-to-ones every week. That is the bar that I've set. Is really hard with all the work that I'm doing, but it's something that has transformed my life, and it continues to ground me. We don't do for people. Okay. It's not about just providing a service, right? We want to do it with people. And the way you do it with people is by making sure that you are intentional with sitting down with them and discovering each other's experiences, each other's passion, and moving to action together.
That's amazing, and that's incredible that you've set that goal for yourself. So many every week. That's like, I know I really have a hard time connecting with people on that level, and being able to practice this would definitely just bring so many more deeper relationships.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
you do know that we are part of the National Healthy Schools Collaborative, and we are
Yes.
all about schools. So when implementing this in a school, do you see it as being a teacher training? Do you see it as being a class for students? What ways would you want to see this happen in a school setting?
I'll give you an example of what I did. There was 2 schools where we were working on the first campaign that I took on at SWOP. There was 2 schools that I targeted to engage families and particularly young people. And in those 2 schools, in about 5 years, I did over 800 one-to-ones. Okay, so what I did is I engaged with folks that were interested in public life. They were interested in leadership. They wanted to get involved, and so I actually trained teachers and some young people and parents how to do one-to-ones. And so we set goals of how many one-to-ones we wanted to do within these institutions. And so I had my own, I'm going to tell you, I never had a high number like 800, right? I didn't have that number in mind, but I had very specific weekly numbers that I wanted to do. And so it's really helpful if you start with people that have an appetite. So what I would say, thinking about a school, have some conversations first, some feelers, maybe talk to some teachers. Maybe there's an organization, a community organization that does this type of work that would be interested in coming in and doing the training. But I think it's really good to start with a group of leaders that have an appetite to grow, and that have kind of the same mindset of what they want to take on, what they want to change. They want to change something, right? They want to do something. And so start there, um, and then grow your base, right? After you grow your base, then you could include more folks that want to get involved, and so you can continue to train them. But I think it's really good to start with a core base, and a good and a good group that's diverse. If you can include some parents, if you can include some teachers, if you can include administration, some students, definitely. You can start there, or you can start with just young people, right? And bring folks that can do the training. Or you can just start with a group of parents, or so it could be a mixture. I think it's better diverse, intergenerational, or you could start within like just parents, just young people, just teachers. So it really depends on what is the appetite, who are the folks that want to get involved, and I would just start there with your core leadership.
This all sounds awesome. And I already know the people who watch this are going to try some one-on-ones. So real quick, I know we're running out of time here, but what are some possible topics that could be covered in one-to-ones?
When we sit down and having these one-to-ones, my desire is for you to walk away knowing who I am and what I care for, what I care about, excuse me, right? What is it that moves me? Why do I wake up in the morning? What is my self-interest? I want to share that, and I want to discover your self-interest. I want to learn about, what is it that you desire? What is your vision for your world, for your city, for your community, for your life? And so typically in these one-to-ones, we start with just a little bit of the superficial, right? We can talk about, hey, where are you from? And what are things that you typically do? What are you into? And then I want to go deeper. And so I look for open doors. I look for stories or things that you share that I can go deeper, right? So if you tell me, hey, I came from Puerto Rico, right? That's where I'm from Puerto Rico. If I came from Puerto Rico when I was 7 years old and I came to to live in the United States, that's an open door, right? That's an open door for me to ask, well, why did you and your family decide to come to the United States at that early age? What do you remember about that transition? Was it difficult, right? Tell me about your family, right? So, and when we want to start on the surface and then go deeper and deeper until we can get at who we are, what makes us angry. We don't talk about anger enough, right? We talk about all these good things about what they make us feel and what we love to do, and videos that we like to like, but what makes us angry? What moves us every day? Like those are important conversations to have. Okay, let's talk about power. What do we have a desire to change, right? If we want to build power together, what is it that we want to take on? Where's the appetite at? And so those are topics that we can talk about. But it's really important that these conversations are not interviews. They're not interrogations, right? It's not, I got 50 questions for you. This is, no, this is a genuine back and forth. It's a back and forth. And at first it could be a little bit awkward, right? But with practice, this really becomes so much easier and really, really powerful. And so you name it, like in the space, so many things can be brought up. It really depends where the conversation is going, and as organizers, we could be in the driver's seat, right? If we think it's going kind of the wrong direction, right? This is not counseling. I'm not there to give you, even though I can give you advice, but I'm not there for that. I can drive the conversation to a different place, and looking for open doors is really, really important. It's really important.
Thank you so much for all of this information. There's one last question I'd like to ask.
Yes.
Are there any additional places that anyone can search for information? I know you talked about the SWOP website. Is there anything else specific to one-to-ones, or really anything else in general that you'd like people to know?
There's so much content out there on relational meetings, one-to-ones, through a community organizing lens. That's really important. There's a ton of books that have been written about this in community organizing. So I would really, one, you could do some research online, but the other thing is find organizations that do community organizing, and you can, for sure, they're going to be talking about relational meetings. They're going to be talking about one-to-ones. Look us up at SWOP. We would love to connect, and folks want to learn more, we'll be more than willing to get on a phone call, do a video, or an in-person conversation if that's possible.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Joel. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you
Excellent.
so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And let's be intentional, right? Let's go out there and have these meaningful conversations that build power, that transform our lives and our communities. That's where the magic happens.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of The Thought Bubble. We are your hosts, Michaela and Ramki, and today you heard some amazing information about one-to-ones from our guest, Joel Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us.